Can you hit your fucking shot? There we go. Okay, yeah, that's footage. Alright, so if you've played any standard or any ranked, I guarantee you've seen the one guy who spends the entire prep phase just standing completely still, and then about 10 seconds left into prep, he finally just full-on leaves sight, you know, goes somewhere absolutely wacky, pulls out the Warden pistol, because it's always Warden, and then just opens the door and just kind of does it with better accuracy than I can. That is a spawn peek. I'm going to start this off right off rip by saying I do not like spawn peeking. I don't really endorse spawn peeking, but I also cannot deny that it works on players that are bad. So spawn peeking works, especially when an enemy is bad or just doesn't really pay attention. Every time we play, we call watch for peek, and, you know, we take our time coming up, because if you're just the guy playing Call of Duty who just decides to sprint over to sight, that's going to happen. So, you know, anytime you load into a map, every single round you should be saying, watch for peeks, and actually watch for the peeks. Also, that was a fucking flawless shot, god damn. So, one of the big reasons a peek won't work on good players is because good players are going to examine every window and door as they're approaching the building. And as you can see, that peek I'm doing over on bridge over there, sort of above the middle of my reticle, there's a big-ass hole in the window. And all it takes is one person with really good aim, better than yours, just to shut that shit down. Because I don't know where they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be to the right or to the left where Glaz was that just put a bullet straight through my skull. Alright, so the main way you can avoid getting spawn peeked is literally just don't WM1. Don't just do this, because you will get fucking popped. Every time we play, every single round we start, watch for peeks, and we don't just sprint. We'll, you know, check door, you know, try to put the geometry between us and the other doors, and you can see the little bit of rubble there, so you can see someone's trying to peek, so we're just not going to do that. We're just going to avoid that entire east side of the map really quick, and just sort of focus on west. And also, we get the valuable intel of, one of them is on the other side of the map, so there's only 4 people on this side. So if you're comfortable doing a rush, guess what? You can rush into a 4v5 right now, and the guy who peeked is going to get flamed by his entire team for not being near sight. I know you're still there, just shoot! So, as far as countering a peek goes, 90% of it's going to be mechanical, because actually countering it means you're taking the duel, whereas avoiding it means you're just making sure the duel doesn't happen, which is, you know, preferable. But if you're actually going to counter it, and you're going to punish them for going for a peek, first thing you can do is set a drone up at some common peaks. This is a pretty common one on Canal. You saw we were doing Bridge. You saw we were doing all the way in Museum on the east side. So having a drone at one of the common peaks watching is pretty helpful. What you can do is tell your team there's a peek happening, either with a hard ping or preferably a soft ping. And since you know the peek's happening, you can just sort of watch the peeks as you're coming up. I saw the peek. Let me just double check, get the ping. And there. You just countered the peek. Callie is especially strong for this because of how strong her rifle is. Glaz is really good for this because you see a yellow outline and all they see is a bunch of people running from spawn a mile away. Basically, anyone that can hit pinpoint like that will be really good for countering the spawn peek rather than, you know, avoiding it. And if you actually get the kill, you don't have to worry about that Warden later in the game. And yeah, that's a quick thing on spawn peeks. Like I said before, I'm not a fan of them. I don't think they make you good at the game. I think they're just a cheap way of getting a kill or two, or taking a team's temp to see if they're bad. And yeah, peace. Have fun countering more peeks.